Greetings, my excellent friends. I'm here with Jake from Wisdom Check, and we will be concluding a one-player solo game where he is playing a puppet witch of his own design.
Because, there's puppets and there's witches, and witches have puppets, so the puppet should be a witch.
I completely agree. All right, well, how are we doing tonight?
Groovy, like, I woke up 2 hours ago. It's fine.
Right on.
I'll be up all night working on shit.
Sure. Yeah, same here. Okay, well, shall we just pick up where we left off?
Yeah.
All right, you had taken the sniper out of the tree, and he lays in a mangled wreck at the base of the tree now. The little pixie had begrudgingly helped you out after you had freed it from its little pixie trap. And it is now... the sun has long since set. There's just a tiny wisp of light in the horizon. The house has been besieged by gunslingers, and there is one who is inside the house currently, and another who is covering the front door from the tree line. So, Playmate, what do you do?
Does it seem like the sun is going to set rapidly at this point, or do I know?
It already has set. There's no,
Oh,
you
okay.
can't actually see the sun, but there's just a little hint of its light yet, kind of glowing the horizon.
Okay.
But it's mostly night. The stars are getting brighter.
Okay. Okay, so I crouch down in the bushes, and I take off one of my eyes, and I shine it, put it back on, dark vision. So I'm gonna crouch in the bushes and wait for somebody to find the body, and hopefully it'll be darker by then, and they won't be able to see me. But while I'm in the bushes, I just keep going. Just really looking forward to it. This is anticipatory.
Sure. You sit and you wait, and you keep waiting.
Oh, no. I'm impatient. I run.
All right. 30 seconds
If you go
later.
past, you wait. Yeah. I'm like, this is going to be fun. Oh, they're not here yet. All right, so, so one dude at the front step, he's not in the tree line. This dude was the only one that was safe to get to. I'm gonna sneak around circuitously, if it's not right in line with where I am, which I don't think it is, to a window to be able to sneak in.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a safe path that you took, safe-ish. It granted you a great deal of cover and concealment as you headed for the tree line. And by taking that same approach back, you'll essentially have as much, make use of as much stealth as possible to get back there.
Okay.
You can choose to go in, well, if you're coming in through the back, you could go in through the kitchen window without being seen at all, either on the side by the rain barrel or on the side by the tree.
I forget what little things I have in my body. Hold on a second.
Sure. Keep in mind that seeds from the tree, or seeds from the apple tree rather, enhance your spellcasting DCs. +2 per seed.
I do have to, tear the apple apart first, right?
Yeah, but that's something you're good at. You can do that quickly and
Right.
easily.
forgot. I have finger knives.
Yeah. And you've helped Rose Burkett to prepare these things before, so you're actually quite good at it.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to. Jesus. Sorry, cat. So I'm gonna go over to the apple tree and pull one down with my hair if I can reach it. If not, I'll go up a little bit and then pull one down.
Yeah.
And I start shredding it, and I'm like right outside the window, crouching where the window's open, right?
The window's been shot open. Yeah, it's just.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going. Like loudly.
As you do so, for a while, you've got most of the apple or most of the seeds extracted. Working on the last one, and all the noise you're making does get the attention, and you hear the door from the kitchen creak open.
Okay, so I immediately go.
You tell yourself to quiet, and you maybe listen.
So how I don't know how far away the door is, but if I'm like not, if it's more than like a couple feet, I'm gonna sneak over to it and like peek around the corner of the door.
Well, you are. Let's see here. You would be right beside the window, or did you go into the kitchen, or you stayed outside?
Nope, not yet.
Okay,
it's safer outside.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, you can see from where you're standing that the if you like kind of like peek up, peer up over the sill, you can see right that the door is opening, and it's maybe 5-6 feet away, and it opens very slowly, and barrel of a gun comes out ever so slowly as well.
I just found my map. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Then, so how many? I don't know how many of the seeds I can use, but I'm using all of them that I can. And I just go around the corner
3
and I
per
go.
cast.
Puff of poison.
Ooh, puff of poison. Okay.
That's the command word I meant to have last time. I just forgot. The command word is.
Well, you can use up to 3 seeds, so that's a +6 to the DC. And keep in mind you have hero points as well if you want to re-roll or add 5.
This is nuts. Okay. It's just, I feel for this guy.
Yeah. What does he need to roll?
Alright, it's a puff of poison now. Let me say that is. Fortitude save, I think it was a 22. Yeah, 22 plus the 6, so 28. Jesus.
Alright, 28. Okay, well, I'm going to roll one of these fine specimens here.
No.
Nice.
17 total.
So it's a critical fail.
What did you say, 28 total? Or
Yeah.
20? Yeah, that critical fail.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I did not know like a cantrip could be this cool. Like when I do all my math and stuff, I figure like average rolls. I don't even think about crits. This is horrible.
All right,
Okay,
what's the
so-
damage?
Working on it. No computer freezy. I rolled minimum, so he takes 10 plus 6 persistent.
Okay.
Yeah. I think last time it was 20. Wow, that's a huge variance.
Yeah. Okay. You pop out from behind the door, and he's certainly not what he was expecting to see. And just a puff of just horrible, corrosive poison envelops his basically like his upper torso in a cloud of it. He lets one shot off, and it just kind of goes wild and lodges into the wall opposite of him, just completely shocked by the event. And he kind of stumbles backwards, and the door creaks back slowly behind him. You hear him coughing and wheezing on the other side.
Okay. I'm sorry. Are you okay?
You actually say
Apparently,
that?
I want to just talk to him. Yeah.
He replies, coughing as he does, and says, "What in the nine hells are you?"
Slumberland. Not hell.
Slumberland.
Hell's a bad place. I'm not from there.
He coughs again. Right now, you're kind of talking between a closed door.
Oh no! I want to be face to face.
You want to be face to face? You just open the door.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. You open the
I'm
door.
not just trying to roleplay the no wisdom. It seems to make sense.
Sure.
For this guy.
You open the door. He takes a couple of quick steps back and levels two revolvers out at you. And you can see that he's got blood dripping down out of his nose.
I'm sorry if this is extra work for you because I have no idea how this would actually work in game. I charge at him and try to go under his legs.
Roll
well,
initiative.
first I go, no! And then I run at him.
Roll initiative, yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh. $18.
26.
Oof. All right, you have the initiative.
I rolled stupid high. I have horrible
That is
initiative.
incredibly good.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just freaking out when he points. Oh, well, first of all, I'm like deer in the headlights, like, what is happening here? And then like a light goes on. I'm like, no!
Yeah.
And like, slide.
You slide under, and for effect, he takes a couple of wild shots at you, but he's hacking and coughing as he does, and they just ping off to the side. Give you a good scare, that's for sure. But you maintain your charge and slide under, and you want to attempt to grapple. You don't want to get behind him or trying to get away from him.
Get away, running deeper into the house and hiding.
All right, you run.
I know I'm not going to be able to out of character. It doesn't matter.
Sure. You run past him and let's see. Do you want to go left or right as you're running out of the hall?
Right.
Okay.
Wait, out of the hall? I want to run into Rose's room instead. Wait,
Okay, you can absolutely do that,
open
yeah.
the door? I forgot. Is her door locked? I don't remember.
No, it is not locked. She trusts you not to go in, and you've never given her any reason to break that trust.
Okay. And because I haven't really gone in, I go in and I look around for a hiding place because I don't know where to go.
Sure. Well,
The
you
first
could,
dark place I run at.
You could slide under the bed. That'd be the best cover. Otherwise, there's an end table, and then she's got her wooden chest. It's like a footlocker.
And the wooden chest is the only locked container in here, if I remember? Or do I not
Correct.
know? Okay.
Well, you've never actually been close enough to. Well, no, you've been inside.
But there might be other securements that I'm just not aware of. So
Sure, yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll.
It does not appear to be locked.
Man, I have ideas that I don't think they're allowed, but
Well,
I was thinking I would
by.
like crawl under the. Well, I was thinking I would pull off my hand and put it under the bed so that you could see it sticking out, and then
Oh
hide
yeah,
under the
totally.
pillows.
You can absolutely do that. Yeah. That's a fantastic diversion. Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm hiding behind the pillows or whatever is the front of the bed. If it's just the bed frame, whatever, I'm hiding behind that.
There's not much of that to hide behind. However, you are big enough. You could crawl into the chest if you wanted to.
I don't know how much time I have.
Well, it's like 3 feet away.
Okay, but I don't have a key. But I have thievery and finger blades. Can I try to pick the lock?
You don't actually see that there's a locking mechanism
Oh
on it.
God!
It just looks like yeah. When you open it, nothing happens. I'll just say that. I mean,
Okay.
there's no negative reaction to it. It's simply there's a little flip switch in the center of it, and you turn it, and the chest kind of pops open.
Wow. Momentarily fascinated, but also like, no. Okay, so he flips it for a moment. He's like,
What is it?
Yeah,
like
you
totally curious behind.
you hear footsteps coming quickly as he's recovered, and so yeah, you just hide into the chest.
Yep.
All right, and just as it slams down, the door opens. Now, once you're inside, inside the chest, you can see what's there, and it's not a whole lot.
Okay.
But what you see is there's a couple of sets of clothing that seem to be a little nicer than she usually wears, possibly ceremonial or something.
I don't know if it matters for explanation or description. I mean, but I can't see color.
Right. But you can tell just from texture and the fabric and what's going on with it. You also see an enchanted feather duster of repair that she uses to repair things around the house. And also inside, there are 2 photographs. Black and white, a little grainy. One of them... Oh, go ahead.
Are they like old, like do they have like that rigid floppiness to it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's fun to play with.
Oh,
I do
yeah.
that.
Oh, absolutely. Makes a fun little noise. But what you see in one of them is it appears to be like a family portrait of the Burkett family. And they're all gathered around a large goat, which you presume to be Black Phillip, the family patron. There's a second picture. It almost gives you chills to look at. It's spooky. It's just a picture of a closed door. The door, walls, and the floors around it, totally nondescript. There's writing at the base of the picture. The words, "Knock thrice," are written.
I knock on the picture.
You knock thrice on the picture. And you see it briefly flutter. And
Oh my God! I
The
didn't think
door.
that was gonna do anything.
the door in the picture creaks open. And you only see it for a brief moment, but a figure, slips out through the open door. And to to the side of the frame of the picture. It's dark.
I'm just acting out what he was doing. He tried to say hi, but it was gone.
Sure. And it runs off. It's dark and shadowy, and just only saw it for a brief flash. You also hear outside the chest the creaking on the floorboards.
Remember the angry trees. Remember the angry trees. No plenty fire.
And a few moments later, you hear a flurry of gunfire as, it sounds like he's shooting up under the bed where he thought you were.
As soon as I'm able to, I'm going to jump out and say hello.
All right, you do so.
Hello!
It catches him very much off guard, and fortunately for you, as he turns his guns towards you, he's fresh out.
This is something I had not thought of till now, but I can technically do this. So I'm going to try to grab his gun with my hair. I'm going to try to disarm him.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Now's the time. Now's the only time, really, to try something like that. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Grapple is, what is it in PF2?
Athletics.
Athletics versus, was it just... Is it just athletics versus athletics?
Well, it's up to you. You could use his God, sorry. In a situation like this, yeah, I think you should be contest, like athletics versus athletics.
Yeah, I like that. I have athletic skills for all these guys here, so we can do this if you like.
Pretty sure he wins.
Well, let's see. Oh, well, there we go. 22 total.
Okay, I got a 16. I just failed to get it out of his hand, and I waste the action. I'm going to try it again, because I'm persistent and tend to be stubborn anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like just even attempting the grapple. I don't care what the official mechanics would have to say about that. If something is trying to grapple you and you're not going to be just able to easily reload it with, reload the bullets while you're being, an attempted grapple is happening currently. That's just nonsense.
Yeah, struggling the gun away. So I'm gonna struggle the gun away and
So
then
you-
pull out the bullet. Put it
even
in
if-
while he's pulling on. Like,
Even if you're failing at it, you're still keeping him distracted. The use of that is keeping him distracted through the round, so long as you do that.
okay, I'm gonna try it again. And I go,
Stupid hair.
mother. Fumble.
16 total.
I need to look up what the worst thing is for failing, or I don't know if I hit the floor, because I might. I lose my balance and become flat-footed until the start of my turn.
Okay.
I still have one action left.
Sure.
I'm an idiot. I'm gonna do it again.
All right,
I have
go
to roll
for it.
better than a 2 eventually, right? Fumble!
He's rolling very poorly here too. So 5
No, but I got a 1, so you should just say I hit the floor or
Alright.
something, or I face plant.
All right. As you charge up against him, he just lifts a boot up and kicks you straight in the face, and you go flying back across the room, skidding on the floor. Yeah. He that just the fact that you're not making normal battle sounds and everything just seems to be infuriating him. And he just calls out, "Will you just shut the hell up?" And he pulls out from he holsters one of his guns, one of his revolvers, and pulls out from a small satchel on his belt. You don't exactly understand what it is, but it looks like another form of a gun, and it is in fact like a sort of like a snub-nosed shotgun. He pulls it out and levels it down at you, and he's just fury and insult in his face. And he's about to pull the trigger when you see a flicker in the corner, in the darkest corner of the room, and a shadow figure leaps out, strides across the wall behind him, and you see...
I'm watching it very obviously.
Yeah, you can see it. He can't. But you see this this shadow thing is creeping up behind him, and then its hands protrude from the wall itself, and then they're just shadow stuff. And they reach out, and they don't grab for the gun. The two hands reach out, and they grab like behind the head and into the scalp of the gunslinger. And the shadow fingers stick inside, and he just his eyes wince, and the gunshot goes crazy wide, and he howls in pain.
Are you okay?
Even
I'm
if he
looking at
could.
the fingers, just confused.
Hmm?
I'm looking at the shadow fingers, just confused. Go ahead. What were you saying?
He is thoroughly distracted at the moment.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah. In fact, if you wanted to try and disarm him, anything above a botch would do it.
Oh, this is an instant then. This is like ongoing. This is currently just continuing to happen.
Yeah, it happened very quickly. The gunslinger was about to shoot you, and the shadow popped out, stuck its cold hands into the gunslinger's head, and whatever it's doing is having a thoroughly distracting effect on him.
I know what I would do. I'm trying to think of what this character would do.
Oh yeah, that's why I love this. You're playing it very much to the character and resisting the meta urge.
I appreciate you being patient for it sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah. I slowly, carefully, because like I seem a little nervous of this thing. I go around to the back of the guy's head, and he goes,
Hi, friend. Friend? I'm Playmate.
I
Sort
just
of
look worried.
a blank, shadowy face just kind of looks your way briefly, and then just looks with more focus and sinks its claws deeper into the gunslinger's head.
I think he's hungry.
He's pissing
then
himself right now.
Ew, oh. I run away.
All right.
Oh, no, sorry. It's a disgust thing. It's not terror. It's, okay. So I was going to go for his gun, and then I hear the sound of liquid flowing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and I belted his face. Puff of poison again.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. All right. What's that again? Let's see. He's distracted.
Fortitude 22.
22. All right.
Why am I rolling? I don't roll anything for this.
21. What is the effect?
Yeah. Oh, it's Same. It's more than last time.
Oh.
Oh no,
okay.
sorry. Last time it was a crit. This time it is
Right.
not.
Right.
So he takes 12 poison damage, and he's persistently poisoned for 3.
Okay. This is and then you take off because there's a pea puddle growing at his boot heel.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't run though. I'm like inching backwards.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Right now, that's the more urgent thing than anything else that's happening. Is I have to clean it off in the rain barrel, but it'll still feel icky and yeah.
People are so wet.
He the poof of smoke, he can't even attempt to dodge it, and in fact he's not even conscious that it's happening, and he just breathes it in. And one moment here. He lets out a hoarse, wispy, or raspy cough as more blood comes streaming out his nose and his mouth. And as it gushes out, the shadow sinks fully its hands, like almost like it could be interlocking inside of his skull, and just twists and wrenches. And for a few moments, he's spasming intensely, and you see that he's actually being lifted a few inches off the ground and is just kind of hovering there as just blood and urine drip down onto the floor.
okay, I'm cringing. Obviously, trying to hide my face behind something.
You hear one last gasp of breath, and then in a single moment, he just collapses down into a heap. Dead.
I never worked it into the character's history. I don't know if I've ever seen a dead body. Have I?
First one would have been the guy who fell out of the tree,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but he might have forgotten
Okay.
about that. That'd be fully in character. Oh my god, this is the first dead body I've ever seen. Completely forgetting about a few minutes.
I do crawl onto the guy. Oh shit, no, it's wet.
Mhm.
Ew. So oh fuck, everything's wet. All right, so I guess I just like look over at him. I get as close as I can, but not really, like a foot away at least from any liquid. And I look at him and I go,
Is he gonna be okay? Hey!
hey! I throw a lemon at him.
You hear cold, echoey, distant laughter as the shadow recedes back from one dark patch to another, back to its picture in the chest, and you hear a door close behind it in the picture.
I hope Rose knows that he lives there. She might accidentally knock on it. I don't want her hurt.
Okay, so I go in to grab the picture. I think I'm gonna dispose of it.
Okay. You see
I'm
that.
trying to protect her.
Sure. Not realizing that was part of her home defense system, but yeah. Yeah, you could. If you try ripping it, it doesn't, unfortunately. But
Actually, I don't even think about it. I'm trying to.
Sure.
I'm holding it in my hand, looking for some place that's obvious something like this could be destroyed, like fire or something.
you'd have to start a fire.
Nope.
There's plenty of ways that you could do that inside the house. That would just be a matter of summoning the will to do so.
I'll put it on the stove for now.
Sure.
For safekeeping. Okay.
And before you describe anything that he might hear, because I'm trying to keep this in character to what he would think next.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay, so he just shouts, "Clarky!" and he runs over to his little robot.
Sure.
Where'd you
It's-
go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? You're hiding!
Yeah, you look
That was
around.
loud, I'm sorry.
You look around the living room, and you see that it is hiding behind the pot-bellied stove in the far back corner of the room.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay. Then I just go to grab him and pick him up because I want to make sure he's safe.
He's safe. You got him.
In fact, I would probably think that I could go back to the trunk and put him in there because I was safe.
Yeah, that's a safe place for him then, it would seem, in your particular thought
There you
line. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do.
All right. Awesome.
This place is so damaged.
Yeah, it really is.
Angry fingers everywhere.
All right.
I
Well,
pull out the feather duster when I get there.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Start cleaning up.
Seemed logical.
Yep. There is one remaining gunslinger who is covering the front door.
I forgot.
Yeah. Well, it's quite likely that he would have forgotten for a period of time, and then maybe as he was thinking about things, remembered, oh yeah. Or maybe as he's going towards the door, remembered it getting shot twice and maybe thinking about it.
Yeah.
The record player, or the phonograph, is still in good shape. It wasn't in any particular line of fire, but it is covered in dust and bits of debris, so it would need a cleaning off if you wanted to use that album.
Okay.
That's up to him. Or
Yeah,
it could be,
that's
actually,
good.
this would be freaking hilarious if he completely did completely forget about that other guy, but just got
Yeah,
so
that's what I
excited. Yeah, about putting on the album and just playing it.
I did mean in character that I forgot that he existed, so I'm just screwing around cleaning up.
Sure. Well, now's your one chance to listen to that
actually,
album.
If it occurs to me that she won't be hurt by it because she's not here.
She's not here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to try to play an album.
Yeah. As far as you're concerned, you just solved the problem and they're all gone and there's nothing left to do. Yeah. All right. You would need to get the skeleton key for it, which is no
Just
problem.
remembered.
Yep. You
Okay,
just have to
cool.
crawl out the window, get it. You're not even in his line of fire doing that at all, so there's like zero risk. I love that it's playing out like this. And he gets
It's like a horror cartoon.
yeah, totally. You get the magic, or you get the skeleton key from the rain barrel, and you open up the album box, and at the back there is the one album marked "The Hanging Man."
Talking to myself while I start putting it on and start getting ready to play it. I'm like,
If something bad happens, I'm protecting Rose by listening to it for her.
Exactly.
I'm a good playmate.
Very simple mental gymnastics get you exactly where you want to be in this case. You take the album out of the slipcase, and you see that doesn't seem to be terribly long, based on how many, the scores of the album. It's mostly flat, but you know how to use it, and you place the needle down.
The ear needle goes on the black leg.
Mm-hmm.
as soon as it starts moving at all, I'm like,
What you hear is people chanting, a number of people chanting. It's not as good as the songs that you tend to like, but it does have a sort of a weird, interesting sound to it, kind of warbly. You can't make sense of anything of what they're saying, but it does have kind of a sort of a melody to it. It seems to be a chant that's repeated over and over and over again, several
Okay, then I
times.
keep dusting as I'm listening.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Kind of trying to get into it a little bit. And then it ends. And it goes to silence.
I try to start it again.
Pardon me. You try to start it again. Unfortunately, this time, you hear nothing as the needle drops down.
I smack the side of my head as if I have ears.
You hear nothing. Except the sound of your hand hitting your head.
Okay, then nothing happened. I go
Disappointing.
I take it off and I play the other one.
Sure. Put something
Play
else on.
the evil goat looking one.
That one she took with her.
Oh, okay. Play anything else. I don't care.
Sure. Your favorite
I'm
album
bored. I
or
want
whatever.
music.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It's cleaning music. Yeah, it's fun. You're celebrating your victory over the over the attackers, which you all took out.
Over the two attackers.
The two attackers. As you're cleaning, you hear gunshots off by the tree line. Several in rapid succession. Then you hear a voice howling in pain.
I run toward it because I forgot there was another guy, and now I realize I need to do something.
You run towards it, and when you get to the tree line, you see one figure standing over another figure. The figure on the ground is one of the gunslingers who came in that you had seen. And he looks like a bloody pulp. Standing above him is the rotting corpse of the hanging man. In his hands.
Hi, Mr. Handyman.
In his hands is the axe from the chopping stump out back. And he has thoroughly terminated the third gunslinger. He's
This
big.
looks like...
Oh, go ahead.
I don't know you.
I was just saying he's a big looming figure and looks down at you as you speak to him.
That's icky.
There is a faint grin that curls up in the corner of his rotten mouth.
I'm making the ghost happy. That's great.
And with that, he turns, walks past you, walks back through the clearing, slams the axe back into the stump, and heads back for the tree line. Back in the direction of his old cabin.
You have to get in the record. It's in the house. Come here.
I go into college.
He vanishes off into the tree line.
I want the music.
So I look defeated.
Yeah.
And I lumber back to the cottage.
You do so, and I presume you continue cleaning up?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, actually, now that I think there's actually no threat, now I wind Clocky so he can actually move around and shit.
Sure, absolutely. You feel safe again inside the house, deservedly this time. And after an hour or so, you hear voices outside the front door. Familiar voices.
I just want to throw one thing in here in case you want to do it. I could accidentally, while I'm feather dusting, hit the trigger for the stove and not notice.
Sure.
Okay, then I just keep going on. Don't even notice because the picture's there.
Sure, absolutely.
I guess I would notice the sound of the fire though. So I would just like jump back, and I'm looking for something long to poke at the thing to turn it off.
Sure.
'Cause I'm not using any part of my body,
Oh,
including
yeah,
my hair.
yeah. There are utensils and whatnot from a kitchen, and maybe a set of tongs or something, and
Or a rolling pin, anything.
a rolling pin, anything, yeah, with some reach. You turn it off,
Okay.
and you see the photograph still there, looking completely undamaged.
Okay.
Phew. Almost got hurt.
We could
Oh.
say that. Oh, go ahead.
A rare thought of maybe getting caught occurs to me, so I'm gonna take the picture and put it back in the trunk where Clocky was.
Sure. As you're putting it away, you hear the voices out front, and the panic rises. So you got to hurry and get everything back in place. Yeah. And then maybe run back and try and look casual somewhere or something. Yeah. But the voices approach. So what do you do?
So like I just try to make sure that her room looks as nice as possible, and like the window to the kitchen is repaired. And aside from that, I probably couldn't do a whole lot else about the damage. So I was just cleaning, but now I'm going to put my hand back on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You've been doing this one-handed.
I forgot. Whoops. So
This is,
then
this is a character who could forget that he had lost a hand, too, so it works perfectly.
I open the front door, and I stand on the front step, and like I'm just waiting for her. I'm hoping it's her.
It is. It's Rose and Cousin Clovis.
I run out to hug Clovis.
He actually, not that you'd be able to read this far into his body language, doesn't seem to flinch or mind so much as you come running towards him, as if there's been some kind of a change. And when you do, gives you a little pat on the head, wipes his hand off.
Tell me about the 7 white sisters. Tell me.
Pulling on his coat.
Sure. Rose looks bemused, and there's a sort of a smirk on her face, as if she knows something, but doesn't say anything other than just greet you kindly and asks you how the night went.
Oh, bad, terrible. Buzzing bee booms everywhere. Angry trees, angry fingers. Look at the house.
She's like, oh my, yes. Well, you'll have to tell us all about it. And she kind of gestures everyone back inside.
Oh, the handyman went back to his cottage.
She
Hope
seems
she
to
understands that
understand.
means
Yeah.
hangman. Okay.
Mm-hmm. She puts some tea on and brings it out for everyone. And asks you to tell her what happened while she was away.
Oh man. I think you probably need me to explain how I explain. So
As long or as short as you want. You could just say you explain it the best way that he can.
yeah, but it'd be like he's shocked about the most inappropriate things. Like, yeah, he was getting shot at, but he was like, and then they broke the door.
Yeah. Emphasis on certain things over other things there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a mush in the trees.
At that, Clovis says, yes, well, I might as well tie up some of these loose ends. And he begs pardon as he gets up and exit the house. You're not entirely sure what he means by that, but he steps out for a short while seems to be working on something. And Rose says that it's too late to tell the full story tonight, but later on she'll tell you where they went and what they did, as much as she can tell. But she says that for a while they were able to see, they were able to watch you and see what was going on in the house. And she says she was very proud of the way you handled yourself.
I look extremely awkward when I'm getting praise.
Okay.
And then he goes,
Why were the posts angry and the door angry and the trees angry? Where's the boo-boo?
She says, well, maybe I'll have Cousin Clovis tell the story to you at a later time. He tells them so much better than I do. And you agree. He is like an expert storyteller.
I'm just happy you're back.
and I like lay across her lap.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She gives you a little hug. And at one point, Clovis drags the one gunslinger out of the bedroom and takes him outside. After about an hour or so...
Wait,
go ahead.
last 70? I go,
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
She's like, I know. You're a good boy. After an hour or so, Cousin Clovis returns, and he's wiping the blood off of a wicked-looking knife. And he tells Rose that he found out all that he could about who these men were.
and I go, like I'm listening.
Now, you've heard stories that Clovis has an ability to read, to divine the truth of a person's life through their entrails. So he can string someone up, gut them, and basically see what their life was like through their guts. It pretty much ends them there, but at least he gets to see. He sits down and tells her what he knows, which I will read to you here, and Playmate can retain or understand, as much or as little as you see fit.
Okay.
The man in charge was named Sir Morgan. He was a paladin who lived in Galt, a nation in the midst of an unending, bloody revolution. After years of senseless bloodshed in the name of vague assurances, he was unable to rationalize his place in it all, nor could he maintain his devotion to a god who made no attempt to resolve the mindless struggle. He lost his faith, hung up his guns, and turned to drink. One night, when his last bottle ran out, he picked up one of his revolvers and pressed it to his temple. But before he could pull the trigger, he was stopped by way of divine intervention. An archangel called Galabreth showed him what the world was heading for if he gave up. The archangel showed him a war that would engulf all of Galarian. Galabreth said this war would be brought on by someone of a particular fiendish bloodline. So, Sir Morgan, renewed through faith, set out to recruit others to aid him on his quest. he found others who had seen the horrors of war and convinced them to use their talents to prevent a global war.
I'm giving approval throughout this with like nods and facial expressions.
Very good. The sniper had served as an assassin in Galt until his conscience kicked in, and he started killing his own officers instead. Eventually, he was captured and sentenced to death. He was pardoned by Sir Morgan in exchange for 3 years of service to the Archangel's cause. And the third one, the one dressed as an officer, commanded infantry gunners in Galt. He abandoned his post and let his own go AWOL rather than keep feeding them into the meat grinder. Sir Morgan tracked him down, found him as a drunk, and offered a chance to prevent a global war. And together, the three of them, led by divine visions, have been tracking down this particular bloodline, the Burkitts. And that's why they had come for your creator and forced you to flee. And that's why they came for your new, whatever you call her, friend, Rose. They're after her and everyone else, and Clovis too. Now you've taken out this band, but this Archangel Galabreth is still out there.
But we're the good guys.
Rose and Clovis kind of look at each other and smile.
Archangels are bad.
Well, this one is unusual because no one's ever heard of it. And that's what gives Clovis great pause. Anyways, at one point... Oh, go ahead if you gotta say something.
So the Archangels...
God, that didn't work.
Coughs out a last bit of poison smoke.
So the Archangels killed my... They're bad!
And of course, I'm fake crying because I don't have any tear ducts. So.
Sure. You could stitch some teardrops on later on if you want to. See, I'm really crying.
That's all. That's my only response to it. I'm
Okay.
waiting for comfort. I'm continuing to cry.
Sure. Well, Rose pulls you close, gives you a hug and a little kiss on the top of the head. Says that you were a very, very brave puppet.
No, I was scared.
And she nods and tells you that there's no courage without first pushing through fear. You probably don't understand that, but she says it sincerely.
No, my eyes are like going all over the place, but I'm nodding like, oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, you're looking at stuff on the walls and... At one point, Cousin Clovis slaps his knees and pushes himself up. Says he's got to be heading out, and he'll be back next spring with some stories, some gifts, and we'll take care of that wood stack.
Wait, wood stack? Do I know of a wood stack?
There's a stack of wood. He cuts the wood for her every spring.
Oh,
just a little detail.
right. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I go.
But you've been here 2 minutes. Can you stay the night? You can have my room.
He actually, after such a long, tiring night, kind of looks towards the door and then looks towards the front door, then looks towards the bedroom door. And she says, or Rose says, "Oh, won't you please stay?" And he kind of thinks about it and eventually kind of gives a little nod and says, "If it's not an inconvenience. Just a few hours rest."
Oh, I forgot where Mama went. She's okay though. I go look for her.
I start walking to the door.
So Rose fixes up the room for him. Doesn't take much. You've already done most of the cleaning. You notice that all the stained glass is sort of warbled and not quite in its right place from trying to dust it back as best you can.
I like the head better here.
maybe a few things here and there just have like glass that's been melded into it from just kind of dusting everything, trying to get it back into place.
That makes sense.
That would make an awesome little effect too, here and there, just little bits of glass that are molded and melded.
Right, like part of the support beam is glass.
Yeah, now it is. So, Clovis heads to bed, and it's in the same room that you share your little drawer. So, you head in?
Well, I would go outside and look through the trees for the cat screaming her name.
Oh, the cat, right. Eventually, once they come back in, the cat crawls back in through a window.
Oh, okay. Well then, yes, I go to bed.
Yeah. She was not happy about anything that was happening, and she was just pretty much curled up in the basement for most of what was going on. She's grouchy, but she's not directing it at you. And in fact, as you're getting ready to head into your little drawer, your little cabinet, she walks by and kind of brushes her tail almost affectionately on you as she walks by. Something she's never done before.
Yeah, and I don't know what it means either, so I'm kind of
not
just
at all.
still
Yeah.
as possible.
But she's not being grouchy, so
Right. It's not a bad thing.
right, exactly. She curls up on the foot of the bed once Clovis is in, because he's taking her pillow. And you drift off, or then the house goes quiet, and eventually Clovis starts drifting off to sleep.
It's at this point that the adventurers wonder, if the adventure has ended, why are we still role-playing? It
One
must
last
not be
little bit
over.
here. And for the first time in quite some time, you start getting flashes of someone else's nightmares. You were created as sort of a nightmare catcher for your creator, because she has such terrible night terrors. And now you seem to be absorbing some sort of dark dream from Clovis himself. It makes no sense to you. It's just horrific, frightening flashes of scary things and a lot of bloody gunfire.
I was gonna say, well, I'm from the realm of nightmares. It wouldn't scare me that much. It's nightmares, but no, gunfire. Yeah, I'll wake up scared.
In a sudden rush of panic, you awaken in the morning, having been totally overwhelmed by the nightmares. But you have awakened too late, and Cousin Clovis has left. The cat sits on the pillow, and we begin a new day.
And I go over to the bed and sniff where he was laying. 'Cause I'm
Smells,
weird.
Smells like gunpowder, and you kind of like it.
God.
And that is where we will leave Playmate, sniffing the bed after Clovis is left. We pull out through a window and
He's just perpetually sniffing the bed.
Yeah.
Everybody's fine.
we're looking down on the forest. And well, thank you for playing.
In retrospect, I'm glad that we paused when we did because there was a significant amount of it left, and last time I probably would have been like stressed for some reason at the end.
Sure,
like,
sure.
Wrap up or something.
No, this was okay because this was very, very role play heavy, and that tends to take longer than just hack and slash and one-on-one. So
Yeah.
no, I thought that was fantastic. You really kept to the character, and for me that was kind of a treat because even some of the best players, the meta tendency really does slip in and is something.
It's hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
When the GM says, well, this and this and this, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I know those things, so I could do this and put this together and do that. Shit. No, that's not what he would do.
Like the character is paging through the rule book and like, all right, well, these are the rules of reality that we all understand, right? So,
Right. And I realized, like, eventually, if I were him in, like, any situation, I wouldn't actually think of any spells I could cast unless an obvious situation came up that it needed one. So
right.
just
It wouldn't be
using
like
the
4D
same
chess,
spell.
thinking many steps ahead with
Right.
multiple layers of spells and, yeah. Very much in the moment, this little guy. I like it.
When you are role playing as a player, God, can you remember that far back? When you are, what do you tend to enjoy role playing the most? Like, is there a kind of mindset that you like role playing, or like a certain trope, or like an alignment, or like, do you have a specific thing that you do?
I like being the guy that goes into a town or a village or whatever where there's a crisis and having to talk to the people who are involved there, the leaders and the power players of the situation. That I really enjoy. And having sort of a balance of the role play with the people involved and then some really good combat too with whatever is going on. Because it's pretty much every game I've ever played. Mine are different here. I can be a little less combat heavy, but most games I've ever been in, there's a significant element of combat there. And some GMs will be, will I guess have enough general DM skills to balance it out somewhat. But for the most part, it is mostly an action game. So I try to enjoy the role play elements when I can. Although it has been a while since I've been able to get into that, for real.
It makes sense for you that you would like that because you're like learning how to immerse yourself into the system, into the game.
Yeah.
That's cool, like getting all the details, and but that could depend on the GM too, because if like you don't get any role play back, you're just like given a list of things that have happened. It's not nearly as fulfilling. So I see why you would be questioning people around town and trying to cement yourself in the scene.
Yeah. And a good GM can roll with that, and and I appreciate that, or appreciated that back when I was still doing that. It has been many years now that I think about it. Yeah.
Well, combat, it's fun to me to like figure out cool, weird crap you can do in combat, but the actual combat itself is usually tediously boring.
When all you're thinking about is the mechanics of it, yeah. If those mechanics are sort of generally serving a shared idea of what's going on, then you can do some interesting things and expand on things and improvise, and you don't have to take every word from the book completely literally and bend it more towards the reality of the situation, if that makes sense.
I've tried running 2 different scenes of war. They were years apart. One of them was a war of orcs and goblins creating bombs and throwing them over the city wall, and like you had to go out and kill the chiefs. And then years later, I ran an underground undead dwarf army against the players. And the first time, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I'm like, okay, so roll to hit. No, it's an army. You can't do that. And the second time, I'm like, okay, so you take this action and it takes out all these people. It's much more satisfying.
Sure. Yeah, they roles can be whatever you want them to be and whatever scenario you want them to be. I mean, you can do general roles for big things, like large legions of armies and whatnot. Then if you wanted to, you could zoom in on a particular person in that army and go to a more crunchy combat sort of system. So maybe you've determined the battle's going to go one way or the other, but you can zoom in and see what's happening to maybe a single PC who's involved with it. Sometimes I like to zoom in and out on things like that.
I think that's a really good tactic and good piece of advice to give people who are used to crunchy combat and a system of mathematics. I mean, a game of mathematics, and trying to adapt to a more plot, story, narratively driven campaign is a lot harder. So they don't. Most people who like war games, like Warhammer 40K, and they get into a game like this because the numbers work for them, and it's fun to theory craft what kind of power they can have.
Yeah,
They have a hard time translating it to okay, but you're actually in this setting, and like you have to decide what actions to take that aren't combat.
Yeah, they don't necessarily sync without a little creative license. You'd have to bend multiple sets of rules to make that sort of flow well, without being just dominated by the crunch of it. And I mean, I love Warhammer. I love the lore and painting minis, but I've always wanted to do a little bit more story-wise with something where you're following a single character through these things, and maybe some of the roles are more standard when you reach a certain combat scenario, but in between those scenarios, your character's a living, thinking creature who's trying to solve problems and get here to there and interacting with people, and there's really no the rules aren't really made for that in the normal combat rules. So I've heard.
Never played. I've never played.
I've only ever been able to play a couple of times. Most of my enjoyment of it comes from the books and such, but and from painting. I've always enjoyed that since I was a kid. Well, I've completely lost my train of thought. I like Warhammer. I'm just putting it out there.
No, we were just talking about how Warhammer. Well, I think that your point that I'm getting from what you said is that you appreciate the lore of Warhammer, but you don't really get to experience that side of it, which is why you play role-playing games like this, because you can embody something that's happening.
That's exactly right. And I'd like to do something Warhammer related and just kind of run my own system. Probably be somewhat PF2 almost related, because I think it's pretty good and balanced, and you could make a single Space Marine or Stades or whatever you want from the lore. Yeah, that's something I would really like to do in the future.
Starfinder is supposed to be updated to its next edition next year.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that too, and then it's gonna jive with PF2 or whatever they're gonna be calling it. I think that's important too. I never really liked that they had two completely separate rule systems.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention something about what we were talking about earlier. I kind of cheated with the roleplay of this character, because if you make something that is completely unlike you, it's easier to get into its head because there's less gray area.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I'm usually even-handed and I think things through, just make somebody who's the opposite, and it's easier to get into character because you know that you wouldn't do certain things and do that thing.
Sure. There's one less step of you trying to translate your own way of thinking into something similar as opposed to just, I don't know, letting another part of you loose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So should we end the stream here and keep
Sure.
chatting for a bit?
Yeah, that's just fine.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone who's watching. Be sure to check out Jake at Wisdom Check on YouTube and Discord. Anything else?
Thanks for coming. It's fun. Oh, do you know? Could you give a sneak peek about any part of the next session, the next game, like a plot or a kind of a feel or a monster kind?
Well, that I'm going to actually, to some degree, leave up to you. I'm going to ask you or some things that you kind of imagine you'd like to see Playmate doing in the future, and the kind of things you'd like to see him encountering, and I will put something together that features all of those elements, and so you can get what you want without having it, spoiled in advance.
That is a sign of an amazing GM. They don't we're gonna do this book now. This is the adventure. We're doing it. I don't care your reason. And instead you're like, well, I need to know what all of you are like, and then I'll build something that makes sense.
I think you get a more entertaining game that way.
Totally.
If it's something that you're asking for it. It's not just hoping that you randomly maybe get some elements of a game that you like. And I know this character is one that's near and dear to your heart, so I want to give him the best possible series going forward.
I'm having fun, but it's totally fun to just see yourself acting out a character in your head, and it's you see this little monster running around doing weird shit. Anyway, I'm babbling. Thank you for coming. Thank you,
Thank you all for
everybody.
coming.